By the way, the jury was never allowed to hear the details of the life of this guy, Joseph Rosenbaum. He had quite a history. Does seem sort of relevant, actually. The rest of the media is not going to tell you anything about it, so we will. In 2002, Joseph Rosenbaum was charged by a grand jury with 11 counts of child molestation, including forcible sodomy. This wasn't, he was 19 and he had a 17-year-old girlfriend. No. He raped children. The victims were 5 boys between the ages of 9 and 11. Ultimately, Rosenbaum was sentenced to 10 years in prison for this. When he got out of prison, Rosenbaum destroyed his ankle monitor, the one he was required to wear. The day he died, Rosenbaum had an open case for domestic abuse. They're defending this guy. Just hours before he threatened to kill Kyle Rittenhouse, Rosenbaum had been released from a mental hospital. He's being treated for some sort of disorder, obviously. He tried to go back to his fiancée, but she had a no-contact order after she pressed charges against him a month earlier for hitting her. So this is the man they're telling you was a model citizen.
Let me just remind people of the names of the victims. Joseph Rosenbaum, who was 36 years old. Anthony Huber, who was 26. Gage Grosskreutz, who's only 27 years old, was injured. These are the victims. These are the people that people ought to remember are the people who were hurt here, not the person who was crying on the stand today.
So if you were an honest progressive, wouldn't you ask yourself, what are all these people doing at a Joe Biden rally 3 days after the Democratic convention? They're all on my side, but I notice that all of them are actually horrible. This is not a cross-section of America. These are the worst people in America. Joseph Rosenbaum, the child rapist? What about the other victims? Well, our media tells you a main victim is a guy called Gage Grosskreutz. He's the guy who ran up to Kyle Rittenhouse and pointed a loaded gun in his face. Fortunately, he's never been charged, by the way. That's not a big deal because he votes the right way. Who is this guy? Well, Grosskreutz, it turns out, also has a lengthy criminal history. That includes an arrest for hitting his own grandmother in the face. Just 6 days before he testified in the trial, in fact, Grosskreutz was in court on a DUI charge, which Joe Biden says is not a big deal, but most of us grew up thinking you were not supposed to do that. Several years ago, Grosskreutz was charged with smashing the bedroom window of his ex-girlfriend's home at 4 a.m. On the night Kyle Rittenhouse shot him, Grosskreutz has admitted he was carrying an illegal firearm. Oh, no longer a big deal either. Gun crimes don't matter if you vote the wrong way. Sort of the last guy, Anthony Huber. He's the man who hit Kyle Rittenhouse twice in the head with a skateboard. Who is he? Well, he's a convicted domestic abuser. According to court records, Huber once told his brother that if he didn't clean a room in his house, he was going to, quote, gut him like a pig. Huber said that while he was holding a 6-inch knife to his brother's stomach. Then he grabbed his brother's neck and said this, quote, I'm going to burn this house down with all of you in it. Huber pleaded guilty to 1 count of strangulation that time. So I guess the point is pretty simple. There were a lot of violent criminals at this particular Joe Biden rally in Kenosha, Wisconsin last summer. What are the odds of that? Kind of hard not to contrast it with what happened on, say, January 6th, the insurrection they never stopped telling us about. No one has been charged with carrying a gun inside the Capitol building that day. How many fires did they set? None that we're aware of. But they get to rot in solitary confinement anyway, while Gage Grosskreutz gets the seal of approval from MSNBC anchors for pointing a loaded gun he was carrying illegally in the face of a child. So the Kyle Rittenhouse trial is wrapping up, but the people who engineered the political prosecution behind this are still in power.